Good morning, guys. Had so much fun at the sourdough event last night. I'm hopping on this morning. Everything's messy. I'm a mess. My kitchen's a mess. But I wanted to go over a few things that I'd forgotten to mention and just clarify some things that I didn't clarify well. Also wanted to tell you, so last night the dough I had made a couple hours before you guys came in, so I could show you the stretch and folds and the change in the dough. This morning when I was getting ready to pop it in the oven, I could tell it was a little bubbly. It wasn't smooth and nice, so I wasn't able to score it well. But I wanted to go and bake it just to see what was going to happen. So I will show you, if you can see here, it's just not a real pretty dough, but it's still a good dough. I did smell the dough before I baked it to make sure it didn't smell kind of alcoholish. That's a good indicator that it's just too overproofed, but it's not a throwaway. If it gets that way, if you do let it overproof too much and it's bubbly and all, punch it down, do a stretch and fold to pull it back together into a ball, and let it sit again for a while, maybe 6 hours or so, 8 hours, and then bake it again. You'll be okay. But the dough that I made with you guys in class, I don't know if I can show you that. I made it into some little round rolls here. It looks really pretty. So I'm just about to throw that into the oven. So I'm hoping that yours looks good. If you're not able to bake it first thing this morning though, I would put it in the refrigerator. Which brings me to, I'm trying to get out of the lights here, brings me to a couple things that I wanted to clarify on when stuff goes in the refrigerator. When you put your bowl in the refrigerator, you can cover it with plastic, it's fine then. You can put your towel over it, but maybe you want to dampen the towel. But it's fine to put plastic over it. The other thing is with our jars of starter. So we put the coffee filters on them for you. It really is a good idea to have it out on the counter and feed it a few times. Maybe either morning and evening, or even just once a day for a few days, to get it good and bubbly and strong. And you'll be able to tell that just by, you'll see all the bubbles in there. Then throw it in the refrigerator. And when you throw it in the refrigerator to sit, it's okay to put your lid back on. Okay, so I'm sorry. I don't think I got that clarified very much, because we were talking about the filters, which is good for the air to, getting the bacteria and all. So two things: when your stuff goes in the refrigerator, it's okay for it to be covered, either with plastic in a bowl or whatever in your jar. But when it's out on the counter and stuff, you want to have something really loose, a cloth, something over it so that it's breathing. Okay, something else, as I was talking at the end of the event with someone who is using whole wheat, I have found when I use whole wheat flour, if I just replace like 1 cup of whole wheat flour, I seem to do okay. But if I go half of the recipe whole wheat or trying for all whole wheat, I double my starter. So instead of the 1/4 cup, I use a 1/2 cup of starter. And sometimes it still takes extra water, because again, you're wanting to get that nice consistency that we talked about in class. Not so hard, you can't really push on it. Not so wet that it's like dripping, but just that stretchy, that nice doughy, soft texture. Okay, don't forget to score. If you haven't put it in the oven yet this morning, remember to cut the tops. Those little rolls that I have sitting here, I'm gonna put a score on those too, so that they'll pop up a little bit for me. Waiting to cut. That was the last thing I wanted to share with you. They recommend, you don't have to, but they do recommend waiting to cut your sourdough, not cutting it fresh out of the oven, which we all love bread fresh out of the oven. It's not to say you can't do it. It's just something you'll learn as you do it. But they say it continues to bake some because it's got that nice crust on it, even up to an hour or more after you bring it out of the oven. So if you can be patient and wait, if you cut into it, you'll find out. It'll be a little bit denser, and might not be done. But if you bake it, there was quite a range. I was talking with someone early this morning about that too. There is quite a range on that sheet, and you'll find out how your oven bakes. For my oven, 25 minutes. I put the lid on if I'm covering it. 25 minutes with it off. These little rolls, I probably will bake only 45 minutes because they're smaller and individual. But for your bigger full loaves, I would probably do a minimum of the 50 minutes. If your oven tends to not heat real high, then maybe you're going to want to do longer. So we're going to post this video. If you have questions, please put them in the comments and stuff. We want to be there for you. I don't have all the answers for sure. I'm still learning, but it's so much fun to learn together.